welcome to this edition of At the Mic. I'm your host, Keith Malinak. It's a Wednesday Wildcard where we talk about who knows what. You don't know until you sit down and you start watching, start listening. And today, we're going to do a little bit of time traveling, just for the moment. I know where I was on August 29th, 2025. And the reason I know that is because on August 28th, 2025, my wife and I were at the University of Nebraska Cincinnati football game in Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. Okay? All right. And so I know that the next day we hit the road from Kansas City on our way up to Omaha, and we took a little bit of a long route because I wanted to see the National Homestead site there near Beatrice, Nebraska. Okay? Well, I guess I was driving a little too fast, and I had a run-in with the law. And so this is where I was on August 29th. Is that right? August 29th, 2025, when I ended up getting pulled over, rightfully so. And I knew the second I saw him turn around and crest over that hill, I was like, yeah, that was expected. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Trooper Eric Janssen, Nebraska State Patrol. It actually turned out to be a great meeting, and I've learned so much in the last year from law enforcement, from that perspective, and communicating with you on topics that come up in the news. Anyway, what a fortuitous meeting that was back in August of last year. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing well. Just got back from vacation, got a little sun, and hopefully I hope to get in some rest at some point after the vacation,
After I drag you in front of everybody here and grill you with some law enforcement questions. Look, I'm calling you, this is my title for you, the Civil Libertarian Cop, okay? Nebraska State Trooper Eric Janssen. Because, my goodness, man, I want everybody to know that there are police officers out there, there are law enforcement officers that respect the United States Constitution. And you are one of those, you're one of the good guys, man. And I mean that sincerely. And I'm so grateful that you and I crossed paths on was Highway 2? What is it down there?
That was 136. You call it 136 or 4 right there. They're all kind of together right that second.
Well, I'm glad we crossed paths because you and I have been communicating now for the last year or so when stuff comes up, and your perspective has been invaluable. And I have a lot of questions for you.
I might have some answers.
And you might have some answers. There's some videos that I want to play for you and ask, did the officer handle this the right way? Should something have been done differently? I don't want to get you in trouble with your brothers behind the badge, but I do have questions. And so, like I said, I'm going to drag you out here in front of everyone. So anyway, I hope that's cool with you. But before I play videos and before I show the genius chart that you sent me on how the press covers mass shootings, let's just start here at the beginning. Obviously, every day, there's not a world where I could do what you do, sir. Where you are literally risking your life every time you go out there because you have no idea what's waiting for you. You don't know it's going to be some goofball on the radio and TV like me that has a lead foot because he's trying to make up some time, or if you're going to cross paths with a serial killer. You just have no idea, man. And so, obviously, I think that is, if you start from that point, I think that really puts your job into perspective. But what if you had to tell the public, one thing before they ever encounter a law enforcement officer? I mean, what would you say to citizens like me?
I would say we're all human, and it's, to me, and I've said this for a long time, I can treat people with as much respect as they allow me to treat them with.
Right.
We're all just there to do a job. We're in large part, we're not there for a power trip. Vast majority of cops are doing things the right way, and sometimes it doesn't get communicated the right way. But we're there to protect and serve. We're there to save lives. In my case, as a trooper, and these are my opinions as little old Eric Janssen. I'm not representing the agency of the Nebraska State Patrol, but um, we are there to help people. We're there to, in my case, I work the patrol division, so I'm on the road pretty much all the time. Did accident reconstruction stuff a while back, and I'm just out there to stop people from dying. And that's the value of this, is to be able to help people and maintain freedom. And I think sometimes that line gets a little skewed, and I think that's what we're talking about today.
That's right. It's good. Maintain freedom. We're fans of that here. Okay, you mentioned something about how the majority of officers are good people. I mean, you want to give us a percentage as to who's not on the power? Seriously, because there are some that are doing it for the power trip. In fact, I used to know. Whew, at least one, maybe two guys that I've crossed paths with in my life that there's no chance that they weren't in it for just the power trip or gosh, I mean, even worse than that, honestly. One of the guys that I think just saw it as a license to pummel people when given the slightest excuse. And so there are people like myself, and I would even say like you, that respect the Constitution, respect law and order, and but respect the rule of law as well. But would you care to enlighten us from your perspective? What percentage are bad apples out there with a badge and a gun?
Well, here's the thing. I can, and I don't want this to sound like squirreling out from underneath a committee hearing in Congress, okay? Because it is just multifaceted, so it's not just a yes or no, here's your number.
Yeah.
There are cops that do it wrong. Hopefully, in theory, you have a training process that helps to filter those out. You have a hiring process that detects it first. You have a training process that helps to filter that out. And then if they actually do pass in and they're doing bad things and it's not getting handled, they should be getting eliminated from the agency. And then some cops, I've been doing this for, I think I'm 18 years on the road at this point. Some of the cops that are kind of doing it for power trips are more inclined to that. They seem to have short, relatively exciting careers.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
And I can't, I can't give you a real percentage on it. It's low. Depending on the agency, it's low. Okay. What I'll say about that is, when you have a corrupt cop, and this is lawsuit, this is like lawsuit, administrative leave, outside of any legal protection, any qualified immunity or anything like that. You hear those stories, I mean, nationwide for the most part, and rightfully so. But to also realize how many thousands and thousands of cops there are out there, that is a small percentage.
Yeah, no, that's important to say.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're saying it like that. Yeah.
And nobody hates dirty cops worse than clean cops. So
I bet. Yeah. So in that process of training, somebody goes into a police station or whatever they do, and they say, "Hey, I want to be a police officer." I guess they what's that process like? I'm sure it depends on the agency, whether it's state, local, federal, what have you. But I mean, it's more than just an application, right? I mean, do they screen, how your brain's working and physical fitness and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so one of my many hats that I wear with my agency is I'm also a background investigator.
Okay.
So when people apply, we have a lengthy process. I want to say I think it's like 8 months or something like that.
Whoa. Wow, that is intense, huh?
Yeah, it's up there. and in this process, you're doing like a test of a basic or adult basic education, the TABE test, just to see if you're operating at a level where you're going to be able to absorb all this stuff. You have eventually, when you get into it, you have a psychological screening. You got, I mean, background investigators like me will scour through everything in your background. We will hunt down anything and, try to keep it out. And then, you got the psychological evaluation, which kicks some people out. You have the polygraph, which kicks, a fair amount of people out. And I think when you get down to it, our agency running the recruiting numbers. I want to say we have about 2 to 3% that apply actually make it to the road.
Wow.
And we, and all agencies are suffering from recruiting issues right now. One of the big issues I've noticed is that trying to find qualified applicants is really hard. And the reason that it's really hard is you have a lot of stuff in people's background. You have criminal behavior that precludes them from being in law enforcement. You have honesty issues. I mean, we're big on honesty. That's one of those things when I'm training people, you always tell them, like, look, there's a lot of things that can be worked with, but if you have an honesty issue, that should be an easy out at that point. The one thing I've noticed nationwide, because of the staffing crunch and getting qualified applicants, that process is getting less and less. Here's some years back, and this probably won't surprise you about anything related to California, but a few years back, LAPD, it wasn't just that, like, I mean, federally, if you're a convicted felon, you're not supposed to be possessing a firearm. That's federal law. Okay. I believe it was LAPD that actually they were kind of looking at, like, well, we'll work with you. What felonies are we talking about? And yeah, and it's not good. Some agencies are going away from polygraph, which, okay, I mean, that doesn't sound like a good idea. I mean, at least you should be honest enough to pass a polygraph. And if you can't pass a polygraph that's specifically looking at the things that would compromise you as being a law enforcement officer, well, then you should probably not be a law enforcement officer. So
right.
Yeah,
okay,
but I mean, it's the training. At least our training, we do paramilitary training, so it's I think it's 22 weeks at this point is our training.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of stuff to know. Now, I am not an attorney. We don't end up being attorneys, but they try to give us what we need to know to function, and to do it the right way.
Yes, well, that kind of perfectly melds into my question that I had on the tip of my tongue here, is that what challenges do you face as someone who respects the law and wants to honor the Constitution? And I don't know how specific you want to be, Trooper. I don't. So what challenges do you face that really put you to the test in your integrity and your respect for the Constitution, if you would care to share?
Okay, so I think the challenges, and this is a good part about being a law enforcement officer. You are expected to exercise discretion, and it's important that you do that. When it comes to like traffic offenses, I have very set standards for how I do things, and that's to keep from being biased.
Now, hang on. You do, or that's your training?
I believe it's kind of worked into training. I know that when No.
I'm just wondering how much discretion you're allowed as an individual law enforcement officer. That's kind of where I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so when it comes to like simple like traffic offenses and stuff, the important thing is that the individual officer have reliable standard, like that they keep. You can't stop, John for 10 over, give him a warning, a pat on the back, not even, issue anything on paper, and then stop, Jill and just write her into court on it. Like, you need to have that standard so you're not being biased. Once you get up from traffic infraction, and that's to the individual officer. The important thing is that they maintain that standard so that they can defend their enforcement actions in court. When you start moving up from that, when you start getting into like misdemeanors and the felonies, hands are kind of tied on the felonies. Felonies, you got to do what you got to do on that. The misdemeanors, you got to figure out what's actually going to work. What's going to work with the prosecutor. I mean, I'm at this point, honestly, and this shouldn't be a shock to you, a lot of prosecutors are very, everything gets dropped down. It seems like a lot of stuff gets dropped down. And so, the standard practice, what that kind of puts on us as officers is, okay, well, if you're going to drop it down, like I consider this an issue. If you're going to drop it down, then I got to slam everything I can on there in hopes that 1/3 of what I write will actually make it through and then not get, figured out in a plea deal. And it's, I mean, I haven't been put in a whole lot of issues that are, I don't know, feel sticky to me, make me wonder about things. I always revert back to, the Constitution. I would rather be firmly in the black in compliance with that rather than somewhere in the gray on a lesser law. Like if you have a state law that's kind of in a weird spot with U.S. Constitution, you should probably err on the side of the Constitution. Because otherwise you're going to get your name in case law, and nobody wants to be the cop that has their name in case law. So that's just the way it goes.
Right. I will say that, early 90s, my mom was in her 30s, and she got pulled over for going 37 and a 35. And I contend that. Right. All right. Okay. So I contend
yes, go on.
That the cop, the Gehring, Nebraska police officer, was just checking out.
See that bus coming? Yeah.
Right. I that he was just like, oh, look, there's a new lady in town in our little small town here in the Panhandle. And I guess my question for you, and we don't need to dwell too much on this.
Go ahead.
It just came to mind when you were going through your explanation. Was that how often does that happen? Where a cop is just pulling over someone for whatever reason, for 2 miles over, whether it's because he wants to check out the new chick in town or because he has a bias against whoever was driving there. Yeah. How often do you, and you may not know that answer, but does it happen a lot?
So I'm going to preface this by saying I started working out in the Sandhills. So in middle of nowhere. I mean, I had 8 counties to cover, and you could drive for almost 3 hours without stopping anybody just to get to the other side of my sergeant area. Wow. My first pursuit was with a felon with a felony warrant and a stolen vehicle, possibly armed. And he figured out that he couldn't outrun my Charger, so he figured out how to ditch his Buick behind a tree line, and he just took off. It was 45 minutes before my first backup unit arrived. So, yeah. So at that point, backup just becomes the evidence collection team. So I'm going to say, like, I tend to do a lot of stuff on my own. And out in the boonies, that's what we do. It's like you're the only officer. So I can't speak to everybody else's enforcement standards. I will say, you're either going to be the busiest cop in the whole world, or you're going to get grilled on the stand at some point if you're stopping people for 2 over on a regular basis, or you're only occasionally stopping people for 2 over when it's boring. And I mean, how do you defend that? I don't know.
Well,
And
she got a warning, but I
yes,
mean, I think he's like, oh, look at the hottie that moved in. I'm gonna have to introduce
well,
myself,
and
and I
that's
just am thinking, come on, bro.
well, and that's a, that sort of stuff in my eyes, and I'm assuming probably in your eyes too. That's kind of where you start getting into the police corruption part
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
Um, when
For
you
sure.
when you when you deviate from your standards, when you start, doing things you wouldn't do just because of the person that's there, that puts you in a very ethically bad spot to be in.
Hmm.
And one of the things, and this is my personal pet peeve. This, I already don't have to worry about losing a lot of friends in law enforcement, because if I stop them, we already kind of have an issue. One of the big issues that bugs me is the professional courtesy.
Oh, do you know who
Hmm.
I am? Or here's my chief card from the next town
Yeah,
over.
yeah. Oh, hey, sir, I need to see license, registration, and proof of insurance. Oh, darn it! I hate when that badge slips out of my wallet. Okay, dude. Yeah, I mean, just, dude, I'm not an
Yeah.
idiot, and don't do that. And I've had, um that for me kind of gets me into an automatic citation territory.
Huh.
Like
Yeah.
I'm that,
Good for
because
you.
to me that's the start of corruption. That we are, and I guess one of the things, like, in my thinking when it comes to law enforcement, I'm before I was in law enforcement, I was just a private citizen. I go do my career. When I retire, except for like a few added rights as far as carrying concealed weapons, I'm going to return to being a private citizen.
Hmm.
If I spend my whole career negating people's civil rights
Hmm.
because I'm special and I'm a cop, and then I get to be the private citizen, well, I've just spent my whole career working against the world that I live in, that I'm going to be hopefully back to a part of.
Yeah. Great point.
Does that make sense? Like,
Absolutely.
so
Um,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to play some videos for you and ask if the suspect or the officer, if they should have behaved differently. But before I do, just two
Hmm.
quick things I want to ask you. Well, actually, I don't know how quick these answers are going to be, because one of them's pretty involved. But
Hmm.
if I get pulled over, I was just thinking this. We've lived here for you're like, if I
If,
can vouch for the
when,
fact that you
yeah,
have.
it's
um
happened.
yeah. um so when you approach a vehicle,
Mhm.
I see, I don't know how many of these answers you want to share, but because another one just came to mind.
The,
Why do cops touch the
go on.
back of the vehicle was not my question, but it just came to mind. If you want to answer
Mhm.
that, they always put their hand on the vehicle, but and I don't even, I honestly don't remember if I did this with you. Do you prefer that the driver? You probably want to approach and have them have your hands at 10 and 2, so the officer can see where they're at, right?
Mhm.
And do you want to be, as a law enforcement officer, do you want me to tell you, and I don't know at what point in the conversation it's organic, where I explain, yes, there is a firearm in here. It's here. There's one here. There's one in my backpack. Like, I'm serious. Like, I don't know. Help us to understand. Do you guys like that heads up? Does it? Because I'm not trying to goody two shoes and, Brett, look at
Mhm.
me. I'm a respectable firearm owner here, sir. Like, no, I want you to know, in case you do see that,
Yeah.
that it's not a threat. Like, help us to understand how to act when we're pulled over.
Okay. So, first off, I think you did do the 10 and 2. I
Cool.
I, I think I think you did maintain that. Um, I would rather, and I'm pretty easygoing. I hope you kind of picked that up on the
Yeah.
traffic stop. Like, I will be as calm as anybody allows me to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the when it comes to, like, walking up on a car, I would rather de-escalate somebody who's, like, doing everything they should, and just kind of like, all right, let's just bring it down a notch. Let's just breathe a little bit. We'll be fine. I would rather do that. And that's one of my first questions. If somebody's 10 and 2, it's like, okay, do you have any weapons in the car? Because that's, a lot of people think about that. And it's like, that's right. If you have weapons in the car, it helps me to not have your hands running all over the place,
Yeah, and I just don't want
ease.
your first encounter with that weapon to be you seeing it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that, I don't know.
So, I mean, yeah, that's like doing like having the hands on the wheel, rolling down windows, all that stuff. That helps put the officer at ease. At least, like, hey, I can see everything in here. It's not trying to hide anything. I can kind of control the situation. A lot of times when I have people that do have their hands on the wheel, it's like, hey, do you have any guns in the car? Yeah, I've got one in my glove compartment. It's like, okay, do we need to get in there for anything else? No. Okay, well, I tell you what, you don't go for yours, I won't go for mine. We'll call it good.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just a matter of, I think people get really worked up now. I mean, I don't get worked up because I'm a cop, and my wife will attest. I don't get worked up about a whole lot of stuff.
How about Nebraska football?
I gave up on that a while ago.
We're numb now, y'all.
Yes. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's hailing on our head at this point after raining on us. Whatever, we don't care.
Whatever.
Back in the day when I was out in the Sandhills, though, I used to hate game days because if we lost, because there were so few law enforcement out in the Sandhills, like most of the 8 counties I had, I think we only had 2 that actually had a deputy, at least 1 deputy. Other than that, it's the sheriff and you. And so we get called to domestics all the time because if we did bad in the game, Joe Blow out in the middle of nowhere would decide I'm going to let out my anger on my spouse. And
so that's real, huh? Wow.
That is real. I started hating Nebraska games out there, but it's good. I don't think any cop wants the driver to think that they're going to get shot. Like it helps us to be able to bring the situation down a little bit, but we just want to make the traffic stop, do what we got to do what we're getting paid to do, complete our job, and move on with life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it's like, for me, it's definitely one of those things, like, just in Nebraska anyway, and most states are probably like this. If you have a weapon in the vehicle, yeah, you're required to announce it to the officer on first contact.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
So you actually are. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, but that's, and me personally, like, I'm much more of a Second Amendment purist.
Sure.
And so, I've had, like, I've never really grilled anybody on that. If it comes for us, like, again, I started working out in the Sandhills, coyote guns everywhere. I remember, like, when I was new on, it's just, you see it so often. It's ranchers. They have a rifle in there, which is legal to have. You don't get too worked up about it because, honestly, out in the Sandhills, if you're bringing every gun back or every driver back, you have a very long day. Coyote guns exist out there. Now, if you stop somebody downtown Lincoln and they got, like, a freaking tack vest full of magazines and a rifle, it's like, let's separate you from that.
Yeah,
but I remember out in the Sandhills, like, there was one guy who was like, look, I don't normally ask this, but I'm just going to ask if I can bring your rifle back with me because it's way nicer than the one they gave me. But he had, like, a suppressor and all this stuff on it. It was just like, I just don't want to get in a firefight with, SEAL Team 6 up here. So, but no, it's, I think, like, if somebody's just calm, announces if they have weapons, good. Let us work with that. Just be honest and we'll work with it.
Yeah. All right. And the touching of the car, the vehicle.
Okay, the touching of the car. Now, I've heard a couple of theories on this. I can tell you why I do it, and I told you on the stop, but obviously we'll reiterate because you weren't recording then. I was.
Right. Or was I?
I was. Yeah.
No.
So some people will check the trunk just to see if it's latched. I don't know. Do you remember the old commercials with the trunk monkey?
Yeah.
Or yeah, and then I don't know if it stems from like, well, we don't know if there's a ninja hiding in the trunk that's gonna jump out and get me, or if there's somebody who's been kidnapped or something.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. The reason that I touch and wipe some dust off is because that is something where, look, if something bad happens, at least I've left some mark on that vehicle that might help it get found faster.
Right.
So something like that. So it's kind of a morbid thinking, but
Sure.
it's
If they
like
find
it's
the
just a world we
vehicle,
live in.
yeah, right. If they find the vehicle later, your DNA's on there. They're like, oh, you encountered, this trooper. Okay,
Yeah.
so all right. Then my other question. All these questions keep coming to mind. Oh, this is what I want to ask you. What year did you begin law enforcement?
Okay, so I started training July of 2007, and I
Okay.
actually graduated at the end of January 2008. So basically
Okay.
from 2008 on.
So what I wanted to ask you, and obviously you're in your corner of the world, and I'm asking you to speak in a very broad law enforcement context, but would you
Mhm.
say that tension between officer and citizen is higher now than it was when you started 20 years ago? Is it about the same? Has it gotten better? What do you think?
I think it's gotten worse.
Mm-hmm.
I can specifically remember. I think it was 2014. Trayvon Martin, when that thing happened, that
Mm-hmm.
was a shift.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Okay.
no, things
All right.
things have definitely gone downhill. Now I know back in the day, in the 90s. I mean, you have sovereign citizens, which they're
They're
the
fun?
the most dangerous stops you'll ever be on will
Oh,
be with a sovereign citizen. And
oh boy.
if you like, I don't know about YouTube rules at this point, but it doesn't take a whole lot. At least it didn't used to go find police videos of
Mm-hmm.
sovereign citizens
Yeah, they're
taking
out
the
there.
fight to the
Yeah.
cop and winning sometimes. And yeah,
Mm. Well,
so
yeah, I just know that in 1996, um, it's a very long story that I'll try to just sum up real quickly. But there was a brand new neighborhood in Metro Atlanta in Cobb County, Georgia, and a buddy and I went up because it's like this nice hill and it's just really cool. And apparently they had some drug use and some bad things happening in this
mhm,
neighborhood while they were still constructing the houses. And so we pull up there, and because I used to go up there and talk on the CB because it was so much higher, the elevation. I'm a radio geek, blah blah blah. Well, by the time that I went up there with my buddy, um, the cops were staking it out, and they were there looking
yeah,
for whoever was causing trouble. Well,
yeah,
I had a fake gun, black, before they started painting them different colors,
okay,
sitting
yeah,
in the middle of my back seat of my '87 Honda Accord. And I will never forget pulling up there. And it was back there because me and some other buddies were recording like this short film stupid thing. I don't even think we
yeah,
even
yeah.
finished it, But it was sitting back there. And I'm not thinking anything nefarious. But when the spotlights come on and half a dozen of Cobb County's finest are hands up, blah blah blah, I want to see your hands, all this stuff. And then one of them yells, "Is that a gun in the back seat?" And then I, the dumbass who realizes it's not a gun, go, "Oh
Mhm.
no, officer, this is your
Oh,
oh my gosh."
don't do
Then
that.
I nearly died that day. I mean I nearly had
It
six
sounds like
guns
it.
unload on me. And I think about that often. Not only because as I'm doing this and realizing how terrible of a decision that was, and it was almost cost me my life. I think
Mhm.
about that today, and I think if that happened today, I think my corpse would be full of lead. I really do, and it's not a negative thing
Mhm.
on officers. It's a negative thing on society, and I feel like we are
Yeah.
the benefit of the doubt. That line is so much thinner now, and
Yes.
I don't know what the answer to that is, but I wondered if you had experienced that yourself in law enforcement.
So one thing, yeah, and this, uh, you have to be. I've jokingly referred to my career in law enforcement as my roadside ministries for some
Hmm.
time. You get to talking to people, especially out in the sandhills. I mean, I could have a traffic stop go for 40 minutes, and we're just chewing the fat. And I mean, there's my dispatch is status checking me and all that stuff.
You're
Um,
like, yeah, I'm busy. I'm having a
yeah,
conversation
it's
here.
fine. We're good. Bill and I are
Yeah.
talking. Um, but I would have to say like that policing has changed a lot just in the time that I've been around because you started out with, we're and we have the hats. Yes, I get it. State troopers and their hats.
Look at this,
Okay.
huh? Look at that, y'all.
Oh no, no.
Look at that, right?
Yep, I'm wearing my hat. I'm complying with policy
That's
right
a
there. Yes.
fancy hat right there, y'all.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're just jealous, jealous.
I am. I am. I love hats.
Don't be. I smack my head on everything with that.
Oh no.
um, but yeah, out in the sandhills, at least, it was like there was definitely and for I know we're talking to people other than Nebraska sandhills, rural
Yeah.
ranching area, low population density. Um, there was a lot of respect for troopers. When I started, we had I mean there was a lot of respect for law enforcement in general. We
Yeah.
only had a few sovereign citizens that would cause you trouble, really. Um,
But you're right though. You're absolutely right on the state trooper
mhm,
thing. It's like you guys, regardless of state, and I've lived all over the country. Those are the most unique, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, and I'm not being facetious, respect demanding uniforms, and it's kind of cool to watch football games and try to like if I flip over and I don't even pay attention to who was on the
mhm.
it's just cool to go, oh, I know that's New Jersey. Oh yeah, it's Rutgers playing. You know what I mean? Like seriously, there's some unique thing, and I'm not trying to get off on the path here because there's so much we have to get to. But yeah, you're right there. Now that you
Well,
mentioned
no,
the uniform,
actually, that leads right into it. So when we started out, we didn't have lights on our handguns. Like when I started out in 2008, we didn't have lights on our handguns. We didn't have AR style rifles. We had Mini 14s. Uh, Literally part of training, especially night range, would be figuring out how to hold your flashlight while shooting your Mini 14
oh
and
no,
your 12 gauge shotgun. Because
oh
I came
no,
on, we had Mini 14s and 12 gauge shotguns and then our handguns. And the um, the way things have evolved, and this kind of goes into the uniform thing. There's been a complaint of the militarization of police. Okay,
yeah,
I can tell you, cops would love to just roll around in pajamas with no gun and no body armor, but that's not the world we live in.
mm-hmm.
It's like that the militarization of policing, the armor, the extra weapon capacity, all the doodads, gizmos, the Narcan, the tourniquets, that's a response to it becoming more dangerous.
Hmm.
And one of the and I know, like, as an agency we've been testing out the so we have like an external vest carrier, which is the uniform that I'm wearing when I stopped you. Um, Up until a few years, probably like 4 or 5 years at least back at this point, we pretty much were running like the Class A's, where your armor is underneath and you got the shirt tucked in and everything, and you get really stiff. And if all of your storage access, storage space is on your belt, well, I mean, last time I weighed my belt, it was like 12 pounds.
Oh
And
my.
yeah, and so
I
a
often
lot of
think of that, like
yeah,
how much gear you're carrying and stuff.
a lot of law enforcement officers have back issues, myself included, and that's why we're a long ways away from the traditional uniform back in the day, where it's like you've got you have like two magazines and a holster and and your handcuff pouch. Like at this point, you run out of real estate, and for all the things you may have to do, and we've been looking at like load bearing vests as an agency, and and that's good. And I think that, and it's good to get some of that stuff off your belt, obviously. But policing has responded to how dangerous things have become, and I think it's multi-tier. You don't Public accountability has gone down. You just don't have people that are keeping themselves accountable and respectable. I mean, and I'm not meaning this in a derogatory sense, but you know, you didn't cause me any grief when I stopped you for speeding. It's like, look, I caught you. This was your day. There's only a few troopers down here. You happen to be speeding right where I was. That's just the way the dice roll. Okay.
Yeah.
And I have respect for the people, who just have that perspective. It's like, look, you were doing something wrong. Maybe it was just for a minute, but that minute is the only thing I have to judge anything off of. And
Right.
and it's like, you know what? Yeah, I'll pay the ticket, whatever, move on with life.
Yeah.
It's you have such a culture of unaccountability in some people. I mean, and it's not totally pervasive, where they can't do anything wrong, or you get the excuse thrown at you. Well, there's serial killers and murderers and all that stuff out there, and and you're stopping little old me and whatever. Well, I mean, that's the majority of what we do. And I, would remind you of the Unabomber and Timothy McVeigh were stopped for simple traffic infractions. So,
Oh yeah. It
yeah.
wasn't the Idaho the college murderer guy? He was pulled over for something too, right? In Indiana or whatever. Illinois. He was way out east. But anyway, I understand your point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you just yeah. I think it is a culture. It's where our society is, where this person isn't just disrespectful to the officer, but to everyone in their lives. And unfortunately, now you're being disrespectful to someone with a gun. And a badge.
Well, someone with a gun who might be terrified of,
right.
Like, yeah, I personally don't understand how you go into this career without having a sincere belief in a higher power. Like, I don't. Yeah, I would be, if I didn't feel like there was, if I didn't feel like, God was looking out for me, something like that, it would be very tough to do this job on a regular basis,
Sure.
and so I think that also, like, if you have somebody who's completely amped up,
Yeah.
and it's like you got to find a way of reducing that anxiety, because you don't want somebody who's already had their fuse is already lit.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're walking up there scared to death, and the second that they move, you're gonna, you're already thinking, like, how many rounds are you gonna put through the windshield or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a video. There's a video. I think it's North Carolina State Patrol, if I remember right. And this trooper was fired on the spot. Good. He stops the guy at a gas station. The guy steps out. He's getting out of his car because he stopped at a convenience store to go inside. The trooper approaches him, asks him for his driver's license and everything. Well, the guy, turns and, and slowly, he doesn't turn quick, slowly turns and, starts getting stuff in his car. Well, as a cop, I can tell you, like, there's plenty of videos of people turning back in, even slowly, grabbing a gun and, sometimes winning the fight. That particular trooper, he was so amped up, he shot that guy several times right there, and the guy was legitimately just getting his license. The trooper asked him for his license. He's getting his license in a slow manner, no quick movements, and just with that back turn, I don't know, just clicked something from that trooper's training. And he just thought he's getting a gun. And like I said, there's plenty of videos out there of people turning into their cars and grabbing a gun. And I don't know what his thinking was, but I mean, the driver survived, got a bunch of money from the state. The trooper was fired on the spot, and I'm going to say rightfully so, because like
Mhm.
you can't know. I honestly, I don't know how you made it through training with that. You
Right.
know, I mean,
So,
seriously.
uh, what is the what's the most concerned or scared, I guess, or what's the most intense um, encounter you've had with a member of the public? May I ask? Oh, you don't
Uh,
have to. You don't have to answer all
no,
these
no, no, no,
questions.
no,
You
no.
know.
You're good. You're good. No, see, this is the thing. I'm also blessed with a memory that tends to reset after a while. I think it's because like I don't want to remember everything from my career.
Yeah.
I'm okay not writing a book. Um, no, there was I, I I ran into a sovereign citizen
Oh,
here. Oh, those are always a pleasure. But
how
ran into a
often? How
sovereign
often?
citizen.
How many of them are out there?
I don't know. It's a small but vocal group.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Um, but and
Do you think
actually,
they're out there trying to get pulled over?
in some cases, yes.
Wow.
And we've had that issue before. I would say probably one of the most tense issues I had is actually like two of them in recent memory. One was a sovereign citizen. He he had a warrant, and the thing was the warrant like I think it was the agency didn't even want to deal with him. So he had a warrant, but he could just pay the bond and call it good. And they were just like, dude, just pay it and everything goes away. You don't even have a court date. Just whatever, you're done. And and it was one of those things where it's like, look, you have a warrant. I am called to actually act on that warrant. You can't just avoid a warrant.
I was
Okay.
gonna
That's
say.
not how it works.
I bet when cops run somebody's name through the system and a warrant pops up, I bet you guys just go,
Yeah. It's right when you're going to go get lunch
"Oh
or
no!
you got to go to the bathroom. That's when it's going to happen. Okay.
Oh no!
But
Oh,
this guy, he had a warrant. Warrants are it's an order from the court. It's an order from the court, and you cannot. And I've seen some videos, and I'm like wondering, like, I don't think you can do that. But where cops are like, well, go take care of your warrant some other time. No, that's not what it says. It says
mm,
if you come across someone there within the territory of where that warrant's active, you're going to take them into custody. That's what the court
mm,
says. And this guy was like, look, here's what I can do. I can either lodge you in Lincoln, which means you're going to have to ride with me for a while and it's going to be uncomfortable, or you can switch out with your daughter who's legal driving age and license and all that stuff. I can run you over to the local courthouse, the jail, which we were like a mile away from. Let them process you, pay the fine, you're out. Bob's your uncle. Have a nice day. Bye. He came unglued, and I mean, legitimately, he started pounding the dash of that pickup truck, and I'm talking as hard as he could possibly punch it. And he's in the passenger side. His daughter was driving. He started punching that dashboard as hard as he could. And I told him, I was like, look, need to get you out. I need you to calm down. This is just something we got to take care of. I'm called to take care of it, so we got to take
hmm
care of it. He got out and he didn't come at me. I gave him a healthy berth there to just kind of, just dude, take some deep breaths. He did do probably more damage to his pickup truck than the bond was. Because he's punching the box of the truck. It was like, you really, I mean, might want to see somebody about this. We got some issues going on here. But, but eventually, I got him to calm down. I mean, he was trying to egg me on into a fight the whole time, and at the jail was trying to egg
Mm.
me on into a fight, and it's just, it was tense. I was able to handle all of it without going hands on with him. Uh, that being said, if I had chosen to, or pulled out a taser or something, I would have been within my legal justification to do so. you know, for the amount for the display of what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like hitting people. I don't like using force on them when I don't have to. Most time I have a use of force. It's like a muscling technique. It's like I don't like hitting people.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
No,
I just need a
I
solve
gotcha.
situation.
Right. So let me ask you
Well,
this, and you please, we don't need to get into the minutia of that guy's case. My question that pops into my brain, that's the problem, bro, is that half of the things, more than half the things I've asked you today, just keep popping into my head. But you said he was in the passenger seat. Is it normal for not only the driver that's being pulled over, but also the passenger to have their information run in order for you to see that there was a warrant out for his arrest? Or again,
I
I don't know
believe
all the details.
no, no, okay, all right. So yeah, no, well, to get actually the details are important here in this one.
Oh, okay, okay.
So the vehicle had no license plates, which is that's standard fare. Yeah.
I mean that's someone asking for please pull me over.
Yeah, yeah. So at least I'm trying to remember it. My primary reason for stop, it was either speed or plates. I at this point I'm not going to say definitely didn't have plates. It might have been just in the speed zone there, but it did not have insurance on it. And the insurance violation in Nebraska goes to the registered owner. So you
Okay.
don't write. So he was the registered owner. That gave me the
Gotcha.
reason to get his information. That's like,
Gotcha,
dude,
gotcha.
got a warrant. We got to handle
Mhm.
this. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. That makes total sense. Okay. Let me ask you this. What is your favorite piece of equipment, your law enforcement tool that you that you like, but also that you've been able to use in the field? And while you think about that, I want to play for you something here. Because I want to get your thoughts on this piece of equipment. Oh,
Yes.
Sandy Spring.
Okay.
Oh, you know this video?
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So this is Sandy Spring. This is back my old stomping grounds here in Metro Atlanta, guys.
These are cool.
All right, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah. See what it says. Fish on.
Fish is on the hook. Fish on the hook.
Fish on.
I repeat, fish
Yeah.
on.
All right. So what is that thing? I've never
Okay.
seen this.
That I believe the term for that is a grappler.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so you know, like and I think they have to be mounted on SUVs. I don't know. I mean, it's proprietary. I mean, obviously, it's like one company that makes these things. I think so. But the push bars that sit up in front on a normal patrol car.
Okay.
In this case, that grappler is all connected into the frame with a net. Those push bars go down, and then it like forklifts. It's got this net in between. And it'll get tangled up in the tire, and then it's got like a big old like toe.
The tire is where. That's what I was going to ask you. Because you see the arm. You see the arm go down. Whoop.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I see the net now. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of it's a cool thing, and honestly, it's yeah, I just love the fish on thing. That's hilarious.
That is so good.
Like, you can tell. Oh, and another thing. In this video, if you go back just a little bit and listen to the commands that they're given, I mean, you can when they're walking them out of the car. That's
Put your hands behind your head, interlock your fingers.
This is a good training video.
All right, I'm going to start it over. Okay, fish on. Here we go. Okay.
Fish on.
So just to clarify, that is wrapping around the wheel.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, it's a net that gets all like tangled,
Okay.
and I don't know what they make it out of. Probably a bunch of Kevlar and cables. I don't know, but
Wow.
gets-
And I want to.
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it gets all tangled up on the tire, locks up the wheel so it can't move anymore, and then obviously you got
Incredible.
that toe strap on there that keeps them from running more. That's an ingenious way. Of
I want to
solving
see it in
dangerous
action from the
problem.
side. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're gonna watch the commands as you requested, but before we do that, you and your fellow law enforcement brethren. What is the is there a consensus on body cams? Obviously, I mean that's I guess 20 years ago we started having those appear everywhere, and now they're ubiquitous. You guys appreciate those, right?
I think this is the litmus test. No. You're good. You're good.
Oh, interesting. Yes.
I was gonna say I think this is the litmus test. if you like having your body cam on, you're probably doing the right thing.
Yep.
If you don't like being monitored and don't like having things on camera, you probably shouldn't be doing this job.
That's a great point, dude.
You know, I mean,
Yep.
seriously, that's my opinion on it.
Okay, so you say that these commands are this is good police work we're about to see, good training stuff? Okay,
yes.
cool. Let's see.
Yeah.
Step out of the car. Face away from me.
Okay, so that's the first
Put your hands
officer
behind-
giving commands. No, you're okay. You can keep running. Yeah,
Yep, all
first
right.
officer's giving commands.
Turn
On
around.
your head. Interlock your fingers. Do it now.
Yeah.
Walk backwards to me. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Stop.
Now listen to the handoff here.
Driver.
Okay.
Sidestep to your left. Do it now. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Stop. That's all you, Dave.
There.
Back up.
Now the
Okay.
other officer is commanding him. So this is really good. And honestly, this officer, you can tell when he's saying fish on, you can tell like he's not activated, like he's not stressed out beyond belief. He's just like, yeah, we got this, whatever. He orders the officer back, the driver back. The other officer was being quiet. The other officer, I'm sure, is covering the truck. So he's ordering the driver back. One person giving commands. One.
Yes, that's a great point.
Yes,
such a
walks
good
him
point.
back, walks him over. Then they have the absolute definite handoff. Now the other officer is the one commanding him. Because one of the issues that you run into is you have 15 people all yelling commands.
Yep.
And this has been training for, at least for us, has taken care of this like really well. Like this is a good video, and this is stuff that we've been trained on. When you have 15 people giving commands,
Yep.
there's a really tragic video, and I don't know what happened with it. It was in a hallway in a hotel or apartment complex. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. I think they had two guys given alternative commands. If I remember right, I haven't seen it in a while.
Is it like a red carpet and he's face down, and they end up shooting him to death? And he was doing what he was told to do. He was no threat from what I saw.
Yes.
Oh, it's such a nightmare.
And that is an absolute tragedy. That this video in particular, this is good communication, calm baseline. The only reason they're being loud is to show them that they're serious. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not being loud because they're all amped up and in tunnel vision. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's the way it should be done.
Now, an alternate way to get all the cops that are present on the same message is to pull up to the top of an unfinished neighborhood and reach for a fake plastic gun, and then they all scream, "Hands where I can see them!" Yes, sir, dear God. Anyway,
I mean, think of it this way: you were a unifier, so
that's yes. Yes,
together.
that's right. Yay, me.
Stay back. Go to your left.
Yeah, so I just thought the communication was great.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. All righty. All right. Let me throw another law enforcement tool at you and get your thoughts on this. By the way, this is a pop quiz. He doesn't know these things are coming, y'all. Okay. I don't think. I can't remember what I sent you some videos to look at. Maybe this was in there. I don't know. But just since you
hit me with it, yeah.
Hit you with it. Here we go. Here's the headline. Yeah. Gunshot detection tech helps lead to arrests in Murfreesboro shooting incident. Okay. So those are those. I'm sure I've seen them, and I just didn't know what I was looking at. I don't know if they're a part of the. We got to talk about the flock cameras too. Oh my goodness! Are these a part of those apparatus where their gunshots go off and they can triangulate and figure out? Okay. The shot came from this area, a lot more reliable, as the article says, than ear witness testimony. What is your thoughts on having these planted all over neighborhoods to pick up gunshots, sir?
So, I know this system. These systems have been around for a while, and I know Omaha has one, and it's not a state secret. The news has, always talked about, like shot spotter, I think is what they call it. They it's around. I have no idea. I'm assuming they're able to distinguish between fireworks and
Right.
and gunshots. I don't know a lot about the system internals. Um, I I mean, I don't know. It's something where I haven't thought about all the implications of it. One thing, I mean, because generally in city limits, you're not allowed to be shooting. That's kind of a pretty much everywhere thing. Okay, at least in Nebraska. So this would be something I don't think it picks up normal conversations. I think it's a very specific sound that they pick up to kind
Okay.
of give a location when shots are detected. And I have no idea. I have no idea how busy the system gets around the 4th of July. I don't know. I don't know. I
They
don't know how
probably
this system works.
unplug it. I
Yeah,
don't want to give
yeah.
anybody any ideas, but that's probably the best time to
My
go
my
shooting.
only my only my only fear about that is like, is it, you know, that is at least something that is very limited in scope and
Hmm.
very specific to a very specific set of circumstances. Um, my only concern would be that system would be part of a bigger, kind of like an enmeshed surveillance system. When you integrate that with Flock, and then have whatever the next gen of surveillance technology is, when do you cross that line over from being a free society into being a police state? Where's that
Right.
line in the gray area? I don't know. You know.
Okay. So, talk to us about flock cameras. What are they? And from your perspective in law enforcement, and as someone who respects, you know, freedom, what's your take on those, sir?
Well, the automated license plate reader systems, they're. I'm going to give you the law enforcement side of it, and then I'm going to give you my personal feelings on it.
Okay.
Okay, so law enforcement side of it, a great tool. You can solve a lot of things, find a lot of people really quickly with it, um, all over the place, and all this is publicly available knowledge. At this point on it, I mean, it's the
And
groundswell in. Yes.
and flock cameras are just correct me if I'm wrong. It's a combination of cameras everywhere, right? That just
Yeah.
fall under this one umbrella. So just think of where you see
Hmm.
cameras in your daily life.
Well,
Those
and
are
that's
all
the
part of it.
thing. And now I'll switch to my personal feelings on it. Um, this is like where I do not agree with it, is that somewhere everything's being, and again, this is all public information, so I'm not giving anything confidential. Um, Everything is being recorded and stored. How long those can be in the system is based on
Hmm.
local laws and policy, but the system itself just kind of keeps everything forever. And I, it makes a lot of jobs really easy in law enforcement, but probably some of those jobs should be harder.
Hmm.
Should be harder, because if it's really easy for law enforcement, you're losing that freedom, if that makes sense.
It makes you wonder. Like, I pass a data center every day on my way home from
Yeah,
work. It's a Facebook
yeah,
data center,
yeah.
and in other words, a lot of these data center fights that are happening in the country aren't necessarily because they're trying to keep up with the high scores on Farmville. It's a lot of this. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Hmm.
It's they're kind of a receptacle for all of this camera footage, so that if there ever is a crime, right, they can go,
Yeah.
oh, well, go to the data. Let's go and let's check the tape because uh, what are some of the entities that are associated with these flock cameras that are recording everything you do and everywhere you go?
So there's, I mean, there, like, there are various uses for the system, and the flock thing I don't know if there's two separate systems, because I just know like flock popped up after we'd already been trained on the automated license plate reader system. So I don't know if it's one company bought something else out or what. I don't know if there's two separate systems, but
Okay.
But these systems are used, just like Google search history. If you're not paying for something, you are the product. And so they take all your Google data from whatever, and they use it. They sell your data for marketing and whatever else. Okay. A lot of this stuff, like there is a commercial side and like an industrial side, and then there's a law enforcement side to all of these flock cameras. Well, the commercial side, like say Jiffy Lube wants to figure out if they need to send you a mailer or something like that. Well, they can set up a camera that'll record license plates, and if you've driven by there like 5 times in the last week, well, then you're probably on the mailing list. So they can use it for commercial entities like that, but the problem becomes, and this is the problem to me, the problem to me ethically becomes when you have this giant database that has all of this information gathered, and granted, it's gathered in plain sight, and license plates and whatever. It's discomforting to know that it's being done. But when you have all of this data that's collected for a commercial purpose, and then it can be accessed by law enforcement, and you need to have a valid reason, like that is part of the system. You can't just be like, and people, I know there's already been stories about law enforcement officers like stalking exes and tracking their spouses and stuff like that. And it was like, come down on them with the full weight of justice. I have no tolerance for that. But I guess to me, it becomes one of those things where you're in the gray zone. Like, what should this system be used for? What constitutes an exigent circumstance? So basically, like, your Fourth Amendment rights, you need to get a warrant. As a law enforcement officer, you need to get a warrant. Okay, that's like the default setting with the Constitution. You got to get a warrant. A judge or a magistrate has to sign off saying, yeah, you got probable cause to search this for whatever. Exigent circumstances are when you don't have time for that. So a traffic stop where you have, you may have plain view of, you see drug paraphernalia in the car. That's an exigent circumstance, because in the time it's going to take you to get a warrant, that vehicle like could be gone, whatever. Like, you can't leave. You have to do everything right there because it's able to be moved. So, another thing, if you need a search warrant to go into a house, if you hear somebody screaming bloody murder coming from the house, well, congratulations, you now have exigent circumstances. Go figure out what's going on. We'll handle the paperwork later. So my problem with it is, what is an exigent circumstance for the use of the system?
Just about to ask you that, seriously.
And that's, me just trying to noodle this out on my own where I feel comfortable with it. If you have like Amber Alert, you have an actual active threat to the public, like you have somebody who just did a a shooting wherever, and it's like, hey, this was the description of the vehicle, this is who it was. Okay, then let's access the system and find them, because it's important right now to do it. The vulnerable adults, and I'm not a fan. I'm also not a fan of OnStar in Chevy vehicles. Okay,
right.
But there was a one day where I was fielding a call where there was an elderly lady, had dementia, and the family had put an air tag in her vehicle, to keep track of her, but for whatever reason, I don't know how those really work, but it wasn't working this day. And the vehicle was a GM vehicle, had OnStar. Okay, well, call up OnStar, based in Canada, I guess. So whatever. The person who was the operator had the thickest Canadian accent. It was actually kind of funny, but yeah, but we got through it with all the ootsies. Yeah. But was able to tell me where this car was, and I'm talking within like 30 feet. Was able to tell me where this car was, and was able to shut it down. And I told them, it's like, look, if it's, this, and they did check to make sure it was exigent. They don't just do this willy-nilly. I explained the situation to them. They checked to make sure I was legitimate through my agency, and they're like, this is where the car is. What do you want us to do? And it's like, if it is not moving, shut it down, because we need to get her. If it's moving, just let it move and we'll find it. Don't shut it down in the middle of traffic. And that's kind of like, for that day, that was very important to find her, and that's kind of where it, like, I don't know where it lies. I am not comfortable. No. I'm not comfortable with the giant database where it's right. Like, there's a difference between an abducted child and this, to me, there's definitely a difference between an abducted child that you need to find right now. And just checking everybody to see who's got an expired registration,
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the thing. It all boils down to the individual officer, the individual OnStar, those that have access to this data. We have to be able to trust them. And I think it's a larger extension of our distrust for government. And like it or not, Eric Janssen, the state trooper, you are that extension of the government. And I don't know when I get pulled over that I'm having the benefit of someone who respects the Constitution as much as me. It could easily have been, someone on the other end of that respect for law spectrum. So yes, we have to have, at some point, we as citizens have to have, we have to draw that line where we have to, or else we don't have a society of law and order. We have to have officers that are entrusted with this power and this authority, and hope that they respect the Constitution as much as you do.
Well, and the thing is, you really need it's a social compact.
Yes, that's the phrase. Yep.
It's like it has to be agreed upon. Like, I will use this system only for what the public feel is okay for me to use this system for. Like where's that line at? Because I guarantee you, like, I personally don't feel that using it to its fullest capabilities, I feel like, and obviously we're seeing public reaction to that. People are breaking down flock cameras. The UK, it's huge.
Yeah.
So obviously the social compact is not that people want to be monitored everywhere they go. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so my goodness, if there's just so many questions that just pop up in my head in the course of this discussion here, and I'm doing my best to try to stay focused here. Okay, let's go through some law enforcement videos that I have for you. Now, these I did send to you ahead of time because I thought, you know what, he needs to see these. Did you get a chance?
I wanted to be knowledgeable, so yes, I did.
Yeah.
I wanted to, make sure I had good answers for you.
Yep. So here we go. The scenario is a cop in Florida slaps a woman in cuffs. Oh! Before I play that video, real quick here. I'm sorry. I know the question that popped in my head. When you pull someone over, trooper, what is it that you go? Oh, okay. I need to search this vehicle. Like obviously the circumstances are going to be different every time, but and what are my rights as a citizen if you demand that you search the vehicle? That's what I wanted to ask you before I play the video. Sorry.
Okay. First off, the roadside is never the right place to adjudicate something with a cop.
Right.
It isn't. If something is seized, if the cop doesn't do his job right, and it's seized incorrectly, unlawfully, If it's so bad, they may even be outside qualified immunity for it. So it may not even be something where it's like you may be going after the specific cop in a lawsuit afterwards. If it's so egregious, the violation. But roadside, comply. If there is a legal problem with it, that's what lawyers are for. And if something was seized illegally or fruit of the poisonous tree, it will be excluded, and then the charges will be dropped. I mean, there's like, there are cops out there that do, honestly, they make such thin cases. A lot of prosecutors won't even prosecute them. You have a terrible conviction rate because like you need to make better choices and to make your cases better. And so I would say roadside, like comply, follow commands, because you don't know if you've got somebody who's relatively even tempered or somebody who's having a bad day. And just comply, hash it out later. If they violate your civil rights, congratulations, get an attorney, and I'm sure the ACLU will help you.
Okay. No, that's a good point that you made at the very first minute of this conversation today. Was they are human. You're not dealing with robots. You're dealing with other human beings, and so you don't know luck of the draw who you got. Obviously, I got very lucky. See, I got very lucky when Eric Janssen pulled me over, but it could have been the 180 degrees different experience. Okay, Florida cop. So here's my question. If you're the cop here, he's standing off to the left. She is in handcuffs. What's about to happen is she's going to spit on the officer. And my question for Trooper Janssen is going to be, how would you have responded? And would you have responded the way this cop did?
You spit on me again. See what happens. You spit.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Talk to us about this. She is restrained, and she assaulted him by spitting on him.
Yes. Yeah, that is the case. That does not give you the right to assault somebody, especially if they're already restrained. Okay. She's in the back of the car. She is handcuffed. Here's what you do. Guess what? You slap an assault on officer charge on there. You go on throughout your day, and you take a deep breath.
Okay.
He didn't take a deep breath. And this is this is just a general thing with cops. Like cops have very dark senses of humor. Okay. So we don't mix well with the public sometimes when we start joking because it seems very, very dark. You have to deal with a lot of stress. You have to deal with a lot of disrespect. But you cannot let it get under your skin. And I have a feeling he let it get under his skin. I think he's probably dealt with her a number of times. He's probably frustrated. But right there, you made a bad call. And I don't know what the repercussions are going to be for him, but no, that's no.
That's no. I like it. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let me play this for you here. All right, so this guy is recording. He's in the driver's seat, and ladies and gentlemen, can we not do the vertical cameras, please? It makes difficult this process. All right, let's see.
Hello, sir. Officer Eric Janssen, Township Police. Gotta let you know I'm recording. All right.
What was the reason for stopping me?
All right, so far is everything good? I mean, officer gives his name.
Yeah.
The driver is asking, why'd you stop?
When we drove by in the Muse, we just saw you. I was a little concerned. It looked like you were reaching down, just like hiding your face. We came by. You're wearing a sweatshirt and
Okay, so my question for you is, and I'm not being a smartass. It sounds like it. My question for you is that a legitimate reason to pull someone over because it looked to you as a law enforcement officer they were hiding their face, reaching down, looks like they were trying to avoid eye contact or what have you? Is that a legitimate reason? I really don't know.
Okay, so
I can keep playing this if you'd rather me do that, but I just thought I would stop.
If you're just putting your face down, like I'm going to say no. And what this falls into is and again, and I know there's more in this. Like the officer lists more of that off, but if that's the only reason, that would be a firmly investigative stop. So a primary, like when you have probable cause, like you view a traffic violation, okay? You have probable cause, okay, congratulations, you can stop that car. And I'm a trooper, and we kind of get a reputation. It was like, yeah, we can probably tell if your tint is 3% too dark from like a mile away. But but if you have probable cause, if you view a traffic violation that is a primary offense, or you view a vehicle defect or something, you have a reason to stop them. That's just a traffic stop. If all you have, you don't have probable cause, but all you have is reasonable suspicion, which can be built up through a bunch of, like a totality of circumstances test on it. So if you have reasonable suspicion that there's criminal behavior going on, or something is going on that should not be going on, you can make a stop at that point. And the Supreme Court's held that through the years. They've held that in various court cases.
Okay.
You can make a stop. Is it the best? Probably not. I would rather have probable cause rather than reasonable suspicion. But right now, I would say just hiding your face with nothing else. I would say no, probably we're not there.
Okay. Let's see what else the officer says.
80-degree weather. You got
So he's taking the weather into account, like his clothing choice in 80-degree weather. I'm again. It sounds like I'm being a jerk to you, but I'm not. Is that a reason to say, hey, this is weird? I mean, because it would be to me, if it were 80, 90 degrees and people are wearing T-shirts and shorts in a crowded outdoor setting, and someone rolled up wearing a winter coat, I would think, holy crap, this guy's about to blow himself up. So is that also something that can allow you to pull someone over?
Okay, so here's the situation that you put out there. I agree with. If you're outside and it's 80, 90 degrees and you're wearing a full winter coat or something, I've got questions. We need to talk a little more. I think it's amazing. I do not have the cop sense that this cop does, because I can't tell how good this guy's AC is.
Right.
So
that's what I'm thinking. How can you tell?
I wouldn't do that.
Right. I'm with you. I don't even know that I can tell that he's wearing a sweatshirt if I'm driving by. I guess maybe he said he had the hoodie on, so maybe that's what it was.
I think there's a hood up.
All right, let's see what else we got.
Got the handicap placard up. There's people that complain.
Now, is that illegal to drive with a handicap placard hanging?
Yes.
Might block your view or something?
Yes, in most places. I know it says specifically on there, at least every one I've seen. I don't know if there's like a national, a national format for handicap placards. But
fuzzy dice would not be in that same category as
it would
blocking your view. Oh, so okay, good.
Okay,
all right, good.
All right. So and again, I'm speaking like I have not worked Florida or wherever. I've worked Nebraska. In Nebraska, we have a view obstruction statute. So if anything is hung or placed by the driver that obstructs their view out the windshield, you used to be able to stop them for that as a primary. Okay.
Oh wow.
It turned into a secondary offense. So now that's no longer. It is technical. And I disagree with the idea of secondary offenses. It's like, dude, if it's a violation of the law, just enforce this, please. I'd like to just write you a ticket for the seatbelt and not the 7 over as well. But whatever. But in Nebraska, view obstruction is a secondary offense. So if you have something else, you can note it down as an offense. Okay. Maybe it's a primary in Florida. I don't know. I mean, but that. Yeah, normally you're supposed to remove those when you're driving. So
let's see.
And in the news about people parking in handicap spots.
Was I parked in a handicap spot?
I'm just saying. I was wondering if you have any documentation for that. I'm telling you everything.
So my handicap sticker is illegal?
No, only reason I'm asking that is if you have any documentation.
So what was the reason for stopping me again?
When I was patrolling through the Mews, as soon as we went by you, you reached down, hid your face from us. This is more just saying that if everything's all right with you, if you're all good. If everything's fine, we'll have you right on your way, okay?
Okay, so Let me just stop for just a second there.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm the driver,
Mm-hmm.
how should I be handling the situation?
Okay, as the driver, I would say, yeah, I'm good. I mean, honestly, like it's hard for me to comment on, either side of this situation because
Okay.
I would be uncomfortable making a stop like this.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Okay.
I want both of your badge numbers.
Understood. Can I get your insurance and registration?
So you're conducting a traffic stop because you're trying to say I look suspicious and when you were patrolling through where I live.
Yeah, this is not.
Where I live, correct?
Is that where you
Does the driver have to explain to the officer where he lives? He's got his license now. You figure out where I live.
Yes, and
I don't have to answer these questions. And again, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not taking out my reaction on you.
Yeah.
I'm just asking a question. Do I have to answer that question where I live? Because there's a video coming up that I sent you. That guy, I should have played that one for. That guy doesn't answer any questions.
Are you talking the shopping center thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
so stand by.
Man, we got plenty on that one.
And that's such a long video. I don't know how much time you have today. Hang on.
Correct, right?
You live in the Muse?
Listen.
Do you live there?
So
you live there, right?
Yes.
Do you live there? Do you live there?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're trying to say I look suspicious walking out of my own apartment? Why? Because I'm black and it's 80-degree weather.
Walking out of your apartment.
I walked out of my apartment. I want to speak to your supervisor right now. Call your supervisor. No problem. No, call your.
Okay. So
let's see.
I have thoughts.
Okay, hold on. Hold your thought for a second because
on.
I think this is the one. I think that was it. Yeah. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Go ahead. Yeah, fire away.
Okay. All right. So I would not make a stop like this. I'm not comfortable making a stop like this. To me, it seems like kind of a fishing stop. I'm sure it's probably.
That's the word I couldn't come up with.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Yes.
Yes, I would not be comfortable making a stop like this. Basically, what the stuff they're describing, and I think they commented in there about, like he reached down or something like that and was hiding his face or whatever. Okay, so legally I think you're probably up there to the point of reasonable suspicion, of something going on. You have furtive movements, he's trying to conceal his face. But I would not, this is not a stop I'd be comfortable making because it's like, get something more solid, get a real reason. And honestly, if he doesn't want to answer questions, and if I was the driver in this case, it'd just be like, you have my license.
Yeah.
Bye. Go back, run my license, check for warrants.
So you don't have to answer questions that the officer is asking.
No,
is it?
No.
Okay.
There's very limited things that you're really required to do.
Right. So tell us what I'm required to do. If I'm that driver, what am I required to do if the officer is asking me questions there in the window? First of all, let's go to the beginning. Mm-hmm. I'm required to roll down my window because that's going to come up at some point in another video. Holy crap, we got so many videos, bro.
Okay, all right. So here's the things you're required to do. Okay. On a traffic stop, you do need to actually, and at least Nebraska, I don't know. I mean, your state may vary on this, but you need to actually identify yourself, give a license, give a form of identification.
Okay.
So you need to do that. If you want to do that, and my hearing's not the best, I mean, that's just road noise and radio noise for almost 2 decades. I don't have good hearing anymore, but so the last time I had somebody who was like rolled down the window like that much, like that's enough. And it's like, we're next to the interstate. It was like, I can't hear you. Help me out, man. But you need to give your license. Don't argue. Just don't argue. I mean, that's the problem, is that the drivers come to this with a major attitude. And and I have no problem, if you want to record, I love it when people record me because, like, dude, bro, yes, everything's being recorded. I'm recording you, you're recording me. Fine. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care about that. It is going to be pretty stupid if you end up recording yourself committing a crime. You know, but there's no problem recording. You have to identify yourself. Even with an investigatory stop, you have to identify yourself. At least an identity, an actual name. I've had people give me an alias and tell me it's just an alias. This is the name I'm going by. Again, falls into the sovereign citizen category. It's like, dude, I do not want to spend the next hour and a half standing here with you roadside, and you don't want to be with me. So let's just fix this.
Let's just fix this, bro. Okay.
So, but the driver brought a lot of attitude into it. I would try to find something more solid than that, honestly, to stop him for.
Okay.
Even with the totality, legally, probably okay, but just what side of the gray zone do you want to hang out on,
And the driver has to submit his driver's license when asked for identification.
Yes,
and I
and
guess,
even on... Mhm.
as you say, and I guess registration, insurance, if that's requested.
Yeah, and some states don't require that.
Right.
Some states, there's interstate compacts, so some states don't require it. So like, if off the top of my head, I want to say I think Minnesota is one of them. They're never going to have. Well, Texas is one of them. I tell you what, for you, you don't have to have a registration certificate. So like with you in the car, at least unless Texas changed it, But on a stop, you have to identify yourself, give the documentation that's requested, so registration, proof of insurance. Follow any commands given by the officer. The officer,
Commands.
yes. Worry about if they're unlawful later.
Right.
Again, talk to the ACLU, fine, whatever. Worry about that later. Follow the commands that are given. Don't argue with the officer. It's not the spot for it. Argue in court. It's just.
But you don't
nothing's
have
going to be
to-
solved roadside.
Right, and you don't have to answer questions, right?
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah,
that's
I
not
mean,
going to
I-
endear you to the officer, and it's not going to make your life
Yeah.
easier there. But legally speaking, identify yourself, provide the documentation requested, and obey commands.
Yeah.
I mean that's
Yeah.
your
And
obligation as a citizen.
Yeah, and that's what the Supreme Court has upheld.
Okay.
You don't have to answer all the questions. Those are the bare minimum. Obviously, if you're not answering questions, I'm gonna probably gonna look a little bit deeper into you, what's going on here. It may take a little bit longer, but don't worry about that. We get paid by the hour anyway, so.
Okay. All right, so here's the parking lot video that we just alluded
goodness.
to.
Yeah.
And it's over 12 minutes long. I'm just going to play maybe a couple minutes at the front and a couple minutes at the back, I think. That's what I said. But let's just, you tell me when to stop, okay? Just tell me when to stop.
You're pulling me over for no reason. It's a violation of my constitutional rights.
You want to sit out, he's on the way. Be quiet.
You can't.
Okay, I hate it. I'm sorry. This is my pet peeve, and I'm going to say it here. I hate videos that take a piece of the video, put it at the front, and then you play it, and then you end up repeating it later. Oh, hang on.
You can't tell me to be quiet. You be
We don't
quiet.
need a trailer,
Right?
Go sit in your
Thank
car.
you!
You can't bark commands at me. I'm not a dog.
Hang on.
gosh,
Hang on. Let's get to the beginning of this video. Here we go. All right. This man was on his way home after getting food for his kids when he was stopped and harassed by cops. Okay. Because he stopped to check a part on his car he recently fixed.
Am I being detained?
Yeah.
For what?
Questions.
For what law?
Why are you driving around this building like
For what law am I being detained?
Okay, if you want to stop it there.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta stop. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Let me just play this last 7 seconds there,
Go ahead,
and
go ahead.
then you do whatever you want to do here. But just watch the mouth of the officer. And I'm not picking on him. I don't know if he has some sort of weird tick. I'm just saying that it's priceless. His response. Just watch the officer's mouth.
For what? For what law?
Why are you driving around this building like
For what law am I being detained?
I didn't notice that before. No.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Take it
that's
away.
Probably a take. Yeah.
Well, okay. So if this is factual, He's driving around a lot. He stops to look at again, if it's factual. First of all, I promise to shut up and let you talk. But is that illegal to stop in a parking lot to check a part on your car, to drive around the building? Anyway, you take it from here.
Okay, so this one, I watched the full 12 minutes and 11 seconds of this one.
Okay.
Okay. It is an investigatory stop, because the officer, and the thing is, the driver mentions, like, this is third time in like a week or something like that.
Yeah.
So obviously this guy, he's a frequent flyer. Okay?
He's known to law enforcement for a reason.
Known. Yes. And granted, you're only getting one side of the video here. Okay.
Yes.
So
I thought of that a lot on this. Yes, but yeah.
Yes, you're only getting one side, but there's clues in there that kind of fill in some of the gaps.
Yeah.
So it's an investigatory stop. And even though there's cars in the parking lot, the officer's saying everything's closed down. I don't know if there's like workers' cars. I don't know. But taking him at his word, if everything's closed down, okay, dude, why you? Because he makes reference to him like driving behind one of the buildings. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, well, that's a little suspicious. Then no businesses are open. What are you doing?
Agreed. Yep.
And then the fact that this is like the third time this week. Later in the video, when you get, I don't know if are you going to jump ahead to the lieutenant at some point, or it's okay. I mean, you don't like.
I just don't know where that would be exactly.
Okay. Yeah. That was the lieutenant right there. So.
I'm just trying to figure out where the conversation with him picks up. Okay, you mean to start playing it here?
Sure.
Is that what you'd like? Okay. And to your point, yes. It's but because we're gonna get so far away, we're gonna get so far away from that last thing. Here's my question to you: that officer, let's just say there is a legitimate reason to pull this guy over. Okay. Is it just a poor reflection? Or is it something that is going to get this guy off the hook later if the officer can't cite the law? In other words, how many numbers are rolling around in Trooper Janssen's head if again, let's just say on August 29th, 2025, you pull me over and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, and yet I say, "Hi, officer, before we continue, can you cite the statute of why you're pulling me over?" Do you have to have that information? Does that matter for you?
I mean, legally, I know it's policy to, at least for my agency, to tell to tell the person why they were stopped. Legally, I don't know where that falls. I don't know where in law, but the officer should probably have advised him, like, look, this is an investigatory stop, and then listed his totality of circumstances. Here, this is why. I don't know. I mean, we've been having thefts in the area. Copper's gone missing. This is the third closed shopping center you've been behind in the last, half hour. That's why I'm, so articulate, take some of the question marks away.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to increase his attitude, but.
Right, but that would have given the officer the upper hand on Mr.
Yes.
I'm ready to rock and roll with you.
Oh, well,
guy,
and one of the things, well, and we can, the thing I was going to make comment about the lieutenant, I don't know if you want to play it or not, but
yeah,
he lists, go ahead.
Okay.
Much time.
How's it going?
Not very well.
Why is that?
Are you the supervisor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, first of all, I don't need music to tell me how to feel. I just want to put that in there for any content creator.
Yes.
Sir, my name is Lieutenant Young.
All right, Lieutenant what?
Young?
Young? Okay. Please not with a flashlight. My child's in here.
I'm going to have a flashlight on so I can see inside the vehicle.
All right, you don't need to see inside my vehicle. I've done other.
Is that reasonable?
Okay. No, the officer is not going to shut off his flashlight. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Seriously.
That's reasonable. That's a reasonable thing for the officer to do.
Yeah, it's like, this is, again, under the umbrella. We control the stop. If we don't control the stop, we end up dead. Like, that's, we're into, like, just comply, answer the questions. You know, make a deal of it later. And no officer out there should be withholding name, badge number. You know, I've had people have been angry at me. I mean, it seems odd that anybody would ever be angry, right? But you know, and I've written out, I was like, look, this is my sergeant's name. Here's the phone number for the office. There you go.
Yeah.
Then I'll give him a preparatory, you know, just courtesy call, like, hey, this is probably coming in, just FYI. So.
Yeah, that's good.
Wrong. Look.
Most of the time I do.
Okay, who's your boss, man?
The chief of police?
Who, Danny Baker?
Yeah.
All right, I want to talk with Danny Baker. Is he available?
No.
Okay.
Can you keep increasing your request until you get to the top?
So because you know there's a cut. I mean, there's a cut in the video, and they start off with one officer, and then by the time he gets done, there's like 6 officers there. He was asking for a supervisor. Now this is a PD. I don't know if he got a night lieutenant. I don't know the size of the agency. I'm assuming, obviously, because he's there, that you do have a nighttime lieutenant, a night shift lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
You've already jumped the sergeant spot. I mean,
Why am I being harassed?
What comes after that?
How come I get pulled over twice a week for nothing?
I don't have an answer for that.
He said, what's he say? He pulled me over for suspicion?
Well, I mean, we have a duty to...
No. What is the...
If you want me to explain to you, I explain to you. But if you want to interrupt me, I can't explain.
Beat around the bush, but explain it to me. I get it.
I'm not going to beat around.
Right, this music's really pissing me off.
I know, yeah, it's super dramatic. It doesn't need to be.
So can he give a generic, like, look, it's our duty to, you know, patrol the area and all this stuff? I mean, can he just leave it generic, or does he have to get specific? Or is that not this doesn't even have to be the place for that anyway? You can take it up in court.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think they ended up citing him for anything on this, would be my guess. But
I don't think so.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, he can leave it generic. I'm generally really informative roadside, especially when I have somebody who's like, they think they're a roadside attorney and they're trying to grill me on everything with my radar and be like, yeah, I'll tell you the frequency the tuning forks are at. Like, what do you want to know? I will give them all of that information because, like, look, at least this is saving me from going into court, because you don't want me on the stand, because then I'll be freshly studied up and all this will be on the record. So.
That's awesome. Hold on, before I forget, since you brought up radars and stuff, and I've been known to have a hot lead foot here. Let me ask you this: Can you, as a moving patrol car? Mm-hmm. This is my public service to the audience. Yes. So does it calibrate your speed with my speed, and therefore it kind of works it out and says, "Yep, he's going 90."
Yes. Okay. So
So you don't have to be stationary.
No, and we have front and rear radar antennas. So
yes, I knew that. Okay. I've actually seen that, but I didn't know if you had to be stationary. That's wild. Okay.
Yeah. So what the radar is sensing? It's sensing Doppler shift. So it doesn't it's not like a military radar. It literally just tells it sends out one frequency. That frequency is hitting off something else that's compressing that frequency back. Like it's basically the frequency going out and the frequency coming back are going to be different. The one coming back, if the vehicle's like approaching, the one coming back is going to be a higher frequency. Based on how much higher, that's how the radar is calculating the speed. And it's pulling. We have on the patrol, we have Stalker DSR-2X radars, and it used to be that you had to select all these various modes and make sure you're in the right mode, so I wasn't having an issue. This one actually taps into the vehicle speed sensor on the car, so it checks itself. Yes, so it checks itself. So the radar is not only hitting when you're doing like an opposite direction clock or something like that moving. It is sending out a beam. That beam, not only is it getting a return off the roadway in front of you, so it can figure out what your speed is, it's comparing that speed to the vehicle speed sensor. If it's got to be within plus or minus 3 miles per hour of your patrol speed, or it just blanks it out because it assumes something's wrong.
Okay.
So it's picking up your patrol speed, then double checking your patrol speed. Then it's taking the other spot it's hitting, the other frequency coming back, and it's judging that to figure out how much higher it is to give then the car speed. So it's basically. Mhm.
I was going to say, how directional does your radar thingy have to be? I guess in Nebraska on the plain there, I guess it doesn't really matter. But if I'm right, am I wrong on that,
Yeah.
or does it have to be? Are you manually aiming it?
No,
Inside.
no.
Okay, no. All right. So
No.
is it? I'm just trying to figure out how does it know to focus right there? Because if you're going this way and I'm coming this way, like in other words, is it how wide of a spectrum is it?
Okay. So if I remember right, I think it's based on the radar band. So like old radars were X band, then you had K band, then you had Ka band, and they get like higher frequencies you're going up. I believe the Stalker DSR-2X is in Ka band, and I think it's a 12 degree cone going out there.
Gotcha.
So I think at like 1,000 feet, you got like 200-foot range, like this
Right.
width.
Okay, three more questions and then I'll get off this. Okay, so I love how you can move, and I always suspected that, how you can be moving and stuff. Is that applied to pointed to behind you as well? Like if I come up on you and out of nowhere, oh, you're busted that way too. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Can you shoot both directions then at the same time?
You can, yeah, you can. Well, you can clock up to 4 vehicles at once, technically.
Oh wow! Holy crap!
Technically, no. But here's the thing: legally, you're not standing on that because tracking history. You need to observe a vehicle. You need to judge it over the posted speed limit. At that point, you activate your radar. You hear there's a Doppler tone, so. I don't know. Imagine it's just like an audible beep kind of that's kind of speed dependent as far as the frequency. You can judge whether that is clean or dirty. So if it's getting a lot of interference, it's gonna kind of be staticky. But generally that's not the case. But you have to make sure that Doppler tone is coinciding with the speed you're estimating it at. So it's like. If you're estimating somebody at like 90 in a 60 zone, it's going to be really high. But if you activate your radar and it's just like a low tone, it's like, well, that's not right. So after you get that Doppler tone and you confirm like, well, that sounds like the right Doppler tone for the speed I'm estimating on that vehicle.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you look down, you verify the patrol speed, what the display is saying versus what your car is saying, and then you have your clock on the target vehicle. And then that's the car. I estimated it. The clock I'm getting is well within that estimate. I'm not getting any interference, and my speed my patrol speed is right. We're good. And all this, I mean, you can do it really fast.
Okay.
Yeah. So
well, I have some rapid fire questions for you that are coming to mind here. Are radar detectors still a thing? Yes, no.
Yes, but dumb. Okay. This is the one time that, and I saw Cobra, I think, is like a big manufacturer of them. Out in the sandhills, really dumb. You're the only car out there. I'm not clocking a jackrabbit at 96 miles an hour. Okay, so it didn't help you. And
all right.
One time I had somebody lock it up. We're talking white smoke and started skidding sideways because they saw me and realized I was a cop and I set off their radar detector. I was like, dude, that's an indication.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask you. So they're still a thing. I was going to say, do they work? In other words, I mean, they're still out there, but you kind of answered all my follow-up questions. Yeah. Do you still bust people that are using them, et cetera, et cetera? It sounds like yes. Have I? Okay. And then I guess my other question is, do you think they should be legal? Because I mean,
you want to waste your money and figure out where a Walmart is.
But aren't we? aren't we legally allowed to, under the FCC statute, allowed to receive every radio signal there is? I think that's the justification. One last thing I'll say on the radar detector. Well, not really radar detector, but the whole I've mentioned this in the past, and I don't know if I doubt this article exists anywhere on the internet. I've looked for it before, but I remember as a high school senior, I read this small little article in a magazine that argued that the downfall of society began when CB radios became a thing, because people were now, instead of being on their best behavior and being good citizens, they were warning other people when they needed to be on their best behavior, because the fuzz is up ahead over the hill. And so we were basically encouraging our fellow citizens to not to misbehave, but anyway, to warn them when they needed to be on their best behavior. I don't know. It was a hilarious article, but that's when society began to crumble.
Sounds like it was written by Ned Flanders.
Right. Oakley-dokley-doo. Okay. Let's see here. Another video for you.
And one thing on that, one thing I saw in that last video, you notice the guy is, and like, if you want to jump to it, it's a few minutes in, but he's explaining that he feels threatened, he feels endangered in it.
Yeah, I forget where that is. Yeah. What I was thinking watching this, Trooper Janssen, I was thinking this guy is driving around trying to get the cops to say something to him so that he could have a video for YouTube. And finally they took the bait, and now he can do his little spiel. That's how I felt watching this.
Yeah. So, well, here's and again, I don't. If you want to keep playing it, like I said, I went all the way through it, but he talks about how he feels, and he's yelling out that he's already been belligerent. He's yelling out the window that he feels threatened. He feels that he is being threatened and his children are being threatened. Well, if you're really scared, you're not yelling that out the window at the guy with the gun that you're supposedly scared of. Okay. But everything that he is doing this, and he has a strong sovereign citizen vibe to him.
He does. Yeah. Yeah.
And here's the thing. There is, and I don't remember what the case is. I did look it up and I did actually read it. It's one of the big sovereign citizen cases they go to, in their arsenal. There was a case from late 1800s, early 1900s that is misconstrued in the sovereign citizen movement, saying that you can resist an unlawful arrest with deadly force against a law enforcement officer. Okay. And the actual facts, that's what they state, because that was the finding of the court. But the actual facts of the case, imagine like this is back old, like Wyatt Earp sort of, setting. Okay. There is a guy who is known to, I think he was either like on probation or had a warrant or something like that. Anyways, this sheriff deputy who's in plain clothes and doesn't have his badge displayed sees this guy he knows has a warrant, doesn't identify himself, and proceeds to attempt to apprehend this guy without identifying himself as a law enforcement officer. Well, the guy thinks he's being attacked and mugged or whatever, and shoots and kills him. And and the court system finds like, well, yeah, he didn't identify himself as a cop. It was facially an unlawful arrest because this could just be some, a random, scofflaw. There, we check that off for the day.
It took us 2 hours, man.
Yeah, but it could just be some random person. So, but they misconstrue it. And we had an issue in my area with one of our local sovereign citizens trying to do this to another trooper. And they will attempt to articulate a fact pattern and to create a situation where they feel they're justified to use deadly force against an officer. And I think that's what he was trying to articulate. Like he started kind of checking the boxes there. And it's like that.
Yes.
It's really dangerous.
Yeah, that's true. So. Okay. Let's take you to a traffic stop here in Hurst, Texas, which is about, 30 minutes from me. I go through here all the time. Yeah, I think I've gotten pulled over at Hurst too, now that I think about it. But didn't have an account.
I should have given you a ticket.
What? Excuse me? Okay.
All right, here's your copy of the citation. As far as the bills, you don't want to take it?
No.
Oh, yes, you don't take it because it's your citation.
I don't want it.
That's your citation. That's littering. Step out of the car.
So, Trooper Janssen, number
Yes,
one,
sir.
if the officer hands me the citation, am I required to take it from his hand?
I don't believe you're required to take it from his hand. The requirements in Nebraska, you have to sign the citation. And I've had people almost go to jail on that.
Wow.
And it's, yeah, and it's the dumbest thing, because literally you signing the citation is basically your bond. It's just saying, yeah, I'll either pay it or I'll show up at the court date.
Okay.
Okay. Problem solved. It's just an agreement. That's all it is. It doesn't say you're guilty. It's just an agreement to show up or comply with it in some way. Okay.
Okay.
So if you don't sign, well, then we have no assurance of that. So then it's like, all right, let's go to jail and a judge can set a bond for you and you can pay it and then be out on that. Have fun. I mean, it's a dumb choice to make.
I see. Yeah.
I've had, I've never taken somebody to jail on that, but I've had somebody so close that it was just my discretion on it.
Okay.
But
so,
as far as taking it,
okay.
I mean, if she refuses to take it, I would just let the county attorney know about it. They can mail it out to her. I don't think, I mean, at least here in Nebraska, it's like, look, if you're refusing to take it, okay, it just has your court information and your fine information and your rights and your payment information on it. Why wouldn't you want to know that so you don't end up with a warrant?
Okay.
So it doesn't make any sense. I want to address the throwing of it.
Okay, that's what I was going to play next.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, have you ever had to drop a ticket into a vehicle? That's
No.
my first question. No, you said?
No, I never have. No.
All right. Number two is, if she tosses it out the window, is he within his rights to arrest her for littering, or is that an unnecessary escalation here? Watch this.
All right, here's your copy of the citation. As far as the bills, you don't want to take it?
No.
Oh, yes, you don't take it because it's your citation.
I don't want it.
That's your citation. That's littering. Step out of the car.
No, don't do that. Fuck off my car. I'm not stepping out of you.
Somebody posted this graphic. I don't know. It was her.
Yeah.
Here, the officer already had her ID and the power to issue the ticket. Escalating to an arrest over discarded piece of paper isn't about public safety anymore. It's abuse of discretion. What do you think? What's your take, sir? And this, by the way, this keeps
I
going.
call your supervisor. A supervisor. I'm not
He
stepping out of
he ends up
hard.
dragging her out of the car.
Right. And you're big. You dropped it.
Why?
You ain't going anywhere. You.
Hang on. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
All right, so he drags her out. Talk to me, Trooper.
All right, so I'm gonna start by just summarizing all of this in mistakes were made. So, okay, she tosses it out. Congratulations, you have littering. Now, go write her a ticket for littering unless she's going to pick it up and take it with her. You know, like, okay, write her a ticket, whatever. It's littering. I mean, it's stupid that it even existed, but this is where we're at. If she were, in Nebraska, if she refuses to sign it, well, then guess what? That's another charge. And if you don't sign the ticket, you're going to jail. But I'm with you on the unnecessary escalation. You don't need to be grabbing somebody out of a car for littering. It didn't hit him, even though it's like, I don't think there's any jury on the planet that's going to actually say hitting an officer with with an unfolded piece of paper constitutes assault on an officer.
So if
I think that's a stretch, but
right.
yeah.
But if he writes her up a citation for the littering as well and brings that to her and she tosses it out, is the officer at some point just supposed to pick up the two citations and be on his way, or what should you do with her?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell she wants a situation, obviously, like she wants an issue. I mean, I don't know. I would say on there, like, she tosses out, okay. I mean, I would give her the choice, either pick it up or I'll write you a citation for littering. I mean, just there, the choice, it's your choice. Make the smart one or make the dumb one. It's your choice. then if she isn't, then it's like, all right, well, here's your citation for littering.
And then
If she's not,
eventually,
if
yeah,
she refuses, I mean, if she refuses to take it, again, it only has helpful information on it. It's going to keep her out
right,
of trouble in the future. If she
right.
refuses to take it, it's only ever just putting her at a disadvantage.
And it's
So
putting her at risk, right? Because if she doesn't pay the fine or doesn't show up to court to push back on these citations, then eventually she shows up on the warrant list, right?
Correct. And so, yeah, to me, I put that as an unnecessary escalation.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, take her citation, get some department stationery, throw it in there, mail it off to her. She wants to throw it in the trash, she can throw it in the trash. I would not say that escalating it to the point of pulling her out of the car for an infraction with a fine attached is probably where you want to be. You don't want to be sitting down being like, well, sir, this is what I was thinking at the time.
Okay, all right. I have two more videos to play for you. I'm not going to comment at all. I've already taken 2 hours of your time, so I just want to see if you want to comment on either of these two videos, bro.
Yeah.
I got what I needed.
How often do you walk past the layers of everything you guys are drinking?
Hey, did you do that on purpose? Hey, did you do that on purpose? I saw the camera. Huh? The camera's on you. But why did you hit me with the doors? I'm walking out. The camera saw you. No. You're under arrest. No. Oh, yes you are. No. Oh, but yes you are.
No.
Whoa. Stop. Watch out.
I promised you I wasn't going to comment, although I have thoughts. I'm not going to comment. What do you? What say you?
I'm going to keep this in the realm of my legal knowledge in that sort of situation. So the only thing that the officer there really has is, he's thinking, oh, well, that's assault on an officer. He just hit me with the door. He's coming into it a little bit lit, to be an understatement. Okay, like you don't get to smack the person. That's just smacking somebody in the chest isn't that's not a defensive tactic anybody trains in that sort of situation.
Hey, stop! The camera was on you, bro. Stop. Officer knows.
Okay.
So the second officer coming in with the taser, I just can't watch that and not cringe because it's like.
Was that a taser? Was it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At least I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
But so the only thing you'd really have there would be, if you want to stretch it and say assault on an officer, but that's a criminal offense, and you need to have both actus reus and mens rea. You need to have intent and that it did happen. And I'm not seeing any of that intent there. It's like the dude's. I mean,
he didn't slam it on him.
He's just
looking,
shutting the door, and he already knows that he's filming himself. He's just shutting the door, and then I'm guessing that ended in a lawsuit would be my guess, but I don't know the end of that story.
Okay. All right. Again, I'm looking at the clock here. I have so much to say about this video, and again, I'm gonna try to say nothing. I'm gonna let you talk.
Okay.
All right, we roll up. The police. We're underneath the police building, and I just, sweet Lord.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need music, thank you though. Okay, so here we go. Officer 1 pulls his weapon and aims it. Officer 2, playing along, does the same. Oh, wait, and hits the officer. And hits the officer with a gunshot. And she runs to his aid. Whew. Wow, when you have a channel called Police Incidents, that's trouble. Okay, talk to me, trooper. What? Oh gosh.
Okay, I want to approach this as a range officer first.
Oh, yes, yes. Thank you. Boys and
Uh,
girls, I don't care who you are. You absolutely, under no circumstances, do you ever do this.
yeah. So you treat every gun as if it's always loaded. You never point it at anything you don't intend to destroy.
Yeah, I mean,
And this single-handedly shows apparently why we have the terms horseplay and tomfoolery actually in official policy.
wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, just guys, no, you're literally pointing a loaded. I don't care if you're joking. I mean, it's even
Right.
worse that you're joking, honestly.
And
You're
then,
pointing
yeah.
a loaded weapon at, at a fellow cop, and then they're reciprocating in another range issue. They are not keeping their finger off the trigger and outside the trigger guard until they've made the decision to fire.
That's what I was going to say, too. There's at least 3 things here.
Yes.
Go. I mean, okay. I'm not going to say any more on that.
I hope
okay.
he heals, and I hope they get that
It could have
disciplinary
been
stuff
his.
done.
He could have died. He could
Yes.
have died.
Yes, and
What are
that's
we
and I
doing?
mean it looked like because it hit him up in the left shoulder, I'm
Left,
assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you got not too far and you're into pay dirt there. I mean, it's just that's a terrible thing. I mean, yeah,
I just don't understand.
it's dumb, and this is I want to say one of the biggest problems in trying to find people to hire for really any agency is the maturity level. And you hope to get that out of them. I think we do a pretty good job of doing that, like to get that maturity level up there, at least not. Yeah, but that, man, come on, think about what
I
you're
mean,
doing.
that is. My kids would forfeit their use of guns for 3 years if they were involved in something.
I'd say until they were out of physical therapy plus a few. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. I love this chart. It's a very handy dandy chart. I will try to repost this when this episode posts. This is your mass shooting, how the media covers mass shooting events. Let's just start here. Was the shooter stopped by an armed citizen? No. Okay. Did the police fail to act improperly? No. Was the shooter politically motivated? Which way you want to go here? Let's say yes.
Yeah, go
was
for
the
it.
shooter aligned with the political left? No. Oh, was the shooter aligned with the political right in any of their beliefs? Let's just say yes. Demonize conservatism, push for gun control. See how that works? All right. So now, if we go back to the top here.
I feel I need to make a statement here.
Uh-oh. Okay.
These no. These are absolutely just my personal thoughts. They
see.
do not affect my enforcement criteria and my activities on the road. It absolutely.
Gotcha.
I want to be very clear about this. Like, I'm allowed to have personal thoughts. They do not infect my enforcement decisions.
I gotcha. So if there's a mass shooting, was the shooter stopped by an armed citizen? Yes. Cease media coverage. So we're just done. I'm just looking here.
No, you got to go around.
Oh yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So cease media coverage, but there's an arrow here. Wait, really? I thought we ceased media coverage. Retain as a mass shooting for statistical purposes. Yes, and then push for gun control. Yes. Why does this thing keep zooming in? But I mean, this is such a great chart. It is so good. Was the shooter aligned with the political left? Yes. Could the weapon used be considered an assault weapon? Yes. Push for gun control. Sorry, I should be moving my arrow here.
Well, see, then if you follow the no around, it goes back up to cease media.
Could the weapon be used? Assault weapon media? No. Cease media coverage, but don't forget, we got to retain it for mass shooting statistical purposes. And this is a whole thing here, and I'll post that to make sure that everyone can see that in all its glory. And keep a copy on hand for when it happens, and you can just follow along and trace each. God forbid there's more mass shootings, but yeah. Yeah, what's that? What'd you say?
I wonder where it will end.
Where it will, right? Yeah, no kidding. So, is there anything that you would like to, as a law enforcement officer, share with the public at large here, just on your job or how they should act when they encounter law enforcement? Anything that you want to make sure that everybody hears before we go?
Oh, I would say just remember we're just people as well. We don't know everything. You know, hopefully we don't think we know everything. You know, we're just humans, and we're trying to get through the day. We're trying to get home safe. I mean, it's a stressful job, and I mean you want to look at some bad stats. Look at the life expectancy for law enforcement officers. It is, I think, 57. And that's cancer, heart disease, all those things. Yeah.
Just the stresses of the job, never mind the inherent risk from dying on the job.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that we're just human. You know, the last thing most cops want is an exciting shift, truly. You know, and if you get somebody on your shift that it's like they want to make everything exciting, you want to probably find another place to be. And you know, we're just humans. You know, we all look forward to retirement someday. We generally do not want to be infringing on anybody's rights. We try to keep on the right side of it, because if we don't, then we get sued, and that's just the way it works. You know, I mean, even if you're not going to do it for ethical reasons, it was like you got to do the right thing the right way and for the right reasons. If you do you may get the right thing done, but do it for the wrong reasons and the wrong way, and that's when, you know, your case gets kicked. You know, but you got to do all those things to be in the right, but at least you got to do it the right way. And that's, you know, that's what we're just trying to do. The vast majority of us are, anyway. So.
Amen. Well, God bless you. Please stay safe out there, and please pass that sentiment along to your brothers and sisters that also carry a gun and wear the badge. I will say that I keep this right up here on the shelf, and it doesn't always make it in the shot. I just realized the other day, so I gotta find a good place for him here. But there you go. There's my gift from you.
That is the best swag I've ever seen that's law enforcement related. I've got a collection of them over at the office. So yeah.
I love a little stress ball, right? You know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Nebraska State Trooper Eric Janssen. It was a fascinating discussion. It was a pleasure talking to you. I'm glad that we met. I'm glad I didn't get a ticket either. I got the best of both worlds, man. I got a buddy who knows his stuff with the Constitution and law enforcement, and I didn't get a ticket. So I consider that a win-win for me. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us today, and please continue to enlighten me with your knowledge, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one, Keith.
Be safe, sir.